Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, December 30th in the NBA. My three best bets are on the way. Yesterday, we continued our hot streak, going 2-1. Man, we have been red hot over the last few weeks. Terry Rozier's over in points. Devin Vassell's over in points plus assists. Our only loser was Scotty Barnes over in assists. I have no idea if he had a bunch of potential assists. The game was a blowout, so I'm not too worried about that. A 2-1 day. We've now won money on 7 straight NBA slates. 13 in the last 14. And you see the last 2 weeks of the NBA up nearly 16 units. We have been absolutely dominant. Now, before we dive into today's picks, I do have to address the elephant in the room. The people are asking, one, Austin, we hope you feel better. But two, you've been sick and you've been dominant. Are you still sick? Lucky for you, yes, that is the case. You can probably hear that in my voice. Word on the street, I might have a sinus infection. So that's lit. Clap it up. Woohoo. We love to see that. But either way, appreciate you guys as always for tuning in. If you want to send some sympathy my way, here's how you can do it. You can join the DubClub. Shameless promo from a sick man. Hey, it's how you get all the picks early. You can join the Discord, chat around with all of us, place your long shots and things like that, and just join the community. Like a link down below. Top link should be a 14-day free trial. Get in there. Have some fun. If you've been in here the last 14 days, you have more than paid for a subscription because it's only $5.99 a month. Again, appreciate all the people in the DubClub. Lions versus 49ers. I'll do a video for that after this one. Once this is live, I'm going to go get in the lab and figure out some picks over there. We've also been red hot in the NFL. With the sickness has come the best sports betting streak I've probably had in the last few years. But either way, hey, we're going to dive into today's picks, and it begins and like I said, I'll send out those picks for the Lions and Packers or 49ers game in a little bit. First pick of the day, Walker Kessler. I like his over 21.5 points plus rebounds, which is currently minus 102 on FanDuel. I think this opened at 20.5 and bumped up to 21.5. Wish I secured the 20.5, but I'm not too worried about it. At minus 102, right close to plus money, I'll certainly take a stab at Walker Kessler tonight against the Denver Nuggets. It's been a system play for us this season. Now, obviously, the picks will be scrolling down below at the bottom of the screen. Like I said, I send them out early to the DubClub. So if the lines change, I can't really do much about that. You get them early, though, in the DubClub, about an hour before I post these videos. Now, let's talk about Walker Kessler, and we'll go back to our trusty site, Props Madness. Obviously, Props Madness, a really good, useful site. You don't have to pay for it if you don't want to. I just kind of like showing why it's kind of how I decide on most of the picks is I use a lot of the tools that they have here. Now, you look at Kessler on the year. You're seeing it. He's averaging 21.3 points plus rebounds. Not too shabby. Over this line in 13 of 24. So a little bit more than half. Now, if you look at the Jazz, they're dealing with some injuries here. Technically, these guys are not out. ESPN just has them out because they were out the last game. John Collins, though, is doubtful. So I don't expect him to play. Honestly, I kind of want Keontae George out there just because he's a solid point guard. Without him, or relying on some other guys in there, and I'd rather not rely on that. But either way, I really like his matchup tonight against the Denver Nuggets. And why? Well, because we backed him the previous times against Denver. Looked out how Walker Kessler did. 32 points and rebounds. He had 18 points, 14 rebounds here. In the other game, 16 and 12, 28 points plus rebounds. You see those lost by 19, lost by 26. So 2 games, uncompetitive. They were not even close. They got blowed out. I don't even think Walker Kessler finished those games, and he still crushed the line. I think that goes to show you, hey, if this game's even closer, we could see even a bigger day from Walker Kessler. And we don't even need him to have a big day. We just need him to do what he's been doing against the Nuggets. And it's not a huge shock because if you look at the Nuggets, they're right here, you'll see 26th in points in the paint allowed. I mean, hey, they give up a ton of points in the paint. And where does Walker Kessler score? 85% in the restricted area. Now, the Nuggets rank about 17th there, the middle of the pack. But again, Walker Kessler I don't even know what the hell happened here. 3% from the corner three. Please don't be shooting those tonight. But again, this is just a solid spot for him. Decent shooting metrics here. And we just look at when Walker Kessler gets the minutes because we think about, obviously, John Collins is down. They don't really have any good defenders here. I mean, Kyle Filipowski, you want him to guard? Nikola Jokic, good one. So if we can avoid foul trouble here, we're going to see him play at least 25 minutes. I mean, when he plays 25 minutes over in 65%. But when he plays, 30 plus, which he has the potential for over nearly every single game, I think this is just a great spot when he faces teams that stink at giving up points in the paint. We're talking about teams in just the bottom half of the league, points in the paint, going over in every single game except for games against Wembanyama. I mean, I don't know how the Spurs rank in the bottom half of the points in the paint allowed. Maybe it's a non-Wemby minutes, but not a shock when he's matched up against Wemby. He's not scoring when he faces teams in the bottom 10. hits in every single game. So again, I really like this spot for Walker Kessler. I really like his over in points plus rebounds. I think it's a great spot. I'll back him for my first pick of the day. My last two picks are going to be two guys over in points. That's all I want. I don't need rebounds. I don't need assists. Points. That's all I request. Second one, PJ Washington over 12.5 points, minus 110 on DraftKings. I'm honestly not sure why this line's 12.5. If I were the one making the line, I'd probably put it closer to like 15.5. But I'll take 12.5. I guess I'll remove with it. I was going to take the over in points plus rebounds. That sits at 20.5. I don't hate that. He has had a pretty good track record without Luka Doncic grabbing rebounds. However, the Kings have allowed the fewest rebounds per game to power forward. So a little bit skeptical of that. I still think he can get you some rebounds if you're back in that angle. I just rather the points here for PJ Washington. Now, let's talk about PJ himself. And first, we'll kind of talk about the Mavericks and their injury report. Now, Derek Lively, I anticipate him playing. He should be out there. If not, Daniel Gafford will be in there. But obviously, Luka's out. And big thing, Najee Marshall is out as well, who's still suspended. He was squabbling against Yusuf Nurkic. And PJ Washington was squabbling too. He was suspended for one game there as well. So PJ makes his return to the lineup. And you see, I don't know why the heck Draymond Green is here. Draymond, get the heck out of here, brother. We do not care about you. We want Mr. PJ Washington. PJ, you're looking at games without Luka. Pretty good. I mean, he's over in, 6 of 9 games here, 5 of 11 shooting, 10 points here against the Clippers, 4 for 11. And this is the game he got ejected in, 7 points in 20 minutes. But you have to keep in mind, all these games he's been playing with Najee Marshall, because obviously if you were to go in here and say, ooh, without Luka and what without Najee Marshall, you see there's not a single game in here. Najee Marshall, is he a great, offensive player? Is he going to score 25 points? No, but he does take a good amount of shots, and he is pretty aggressive when Luka Doncic is not in there. Now that you don't have him, who are his minutes going to get replaced by? My guess is you're going to see a good amount of Maxi Kleber. And this is a guy that literally is afraid to shoot the basketball. I mean, we're talking about he's playing games, 18 minutes, barely getting 2 shots. The man does not shoot the basketball. So I really think this is going to be a spot where we see PJ up his usage and get some more field goal attempts for us, and that's exactly what we want. He also has a pretty good track record against the Sacramento Kings they play tonight. You look at the Kings, 7 and 14 in his last 2. Those both included Luka and Kyrie. Still getting the field goal attempts, 10 and 11. You saw this was his career high in points, 42 against the Kings back in 2021. Obviously a member of the Charlotte Hornets. But again, some good games in here, some good usage here. Take these numbers with a grain of salt there with the Charlotte Hornets, but I think he gets 10 plus shots. And you've looked at this season with 10 or more shots over in 60% of games. When he gets the last 30, 63%. So I really feel like this is a great spot for PJ to get some good usage. And also you look at the ways he scores, 30% in the spot, 30% number one in spot up. Kings rank 30th, dead last there. Sure, transition not great. Free throws pretty good, and putbacks or whatever. But again, if I'm going to go in here and I am the Sacramento Kings, then you're going to see a starting lineup with Kyrie, Klay Thompson, probably Spencer Dinwiddie somewhere in there, maybe Quentin Grimes, PJ, and Derek Lively. Who am I leaving open? I'm not leaving Kyrie. Maybe we double team him. Maybe we're not leaving Klay Thompson open. I think you're going to see PJ left wide open a ton. So I think 12.5 is an absolute steal. I think the line should be like 15.5, but hey, I don't make the lines. I just bet them. I'll take PJ Washington over in points. Then my final play of the day is a sneaky one. It's Andrew Wiggins over 14.5 points, minus 115 on DraftKings. I'd play this at 15.5. I honestly, if I were the one making the line, I think it should be 16.5, 17.5, given the injuries as well as the matchup. And I think this is a great matchup for Andrew Wiggins at home against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, if you were to look at the first time these two teams played, you'd be like, oof, that's not ideal. They got absolutely smoked. But I think this is a good spot to back him. Now, let's talk about Andrew Wiggins, and we'll bring back up Props Madness. On the season, he's been pretty good, averaging 16.6 points per game, over in 63% of games. Pretty good. We'll take that. At home, he's been a little bit better, 18.2. So his points per game average at home is 18.2. On the road, 15.4. So pretty solid. Now, obviously, we need to look at that game against Cleveland. 11 points, only played 21 minutes, got 9 shots. What happened in that game? They were down 41 at halftime. He played 8 minutes in the third quarter, but did not play the rest of the fourth. And obviously, they got smoked. The game lost by 19. They made it closer in the second half, but it was not a game after that first half. But we look at him. He's coming off 2 down games. These games against Clippers, 2 for 11, 5 points. And then this game, 3 for 12, 7 points against the Suns. Two bad games. I think he bounced back here. We've seen him do it before, 8 and 13, and bounced back with a 22-point game. And he's playing back at home here, where obviously he was on the road. And this game was at home here, though. So is he going to have two bad home games? I just don't see it going back to back. Is the best matchup for his scoring tendencies? Not necessarily, but I think about how many minutes we played in that last game. 39 minutes is most of the season. And you look at this kind of depth chart, how they did last game, and we had Jonathan Kuminga dropping 34. I mean, look, if Jonathan Kuminga drops 34 again, tip my cap to him. But again, I just don't see that happening. I think this is a better spot for Andrew Wiggins. And in that game, we saw Draymond and Trace Jackson Davis hit this over that we would need from Wiggins today. I think this is a much better spot for Andrew Wiggins. We also think about the depth chart and what we're experiencing here with the Warriors. Brandon Podziemski is out. Gary Payton Jr. or the second is out. Kyle Anderson was a coach's decision, DNP last game. Kevon Looney, he might get some minutes here. But again, we're thinking about Stephen Curry, Dennis Schroeder, Andrew Wiggins, Draymond, and Trace Jackson Davis. And we think about the Cavs lineup. They're obviously going to have these guys in here. Garland, Mitchell, Strus will probably play. Strus been starting. I don't really know if they start Strus or they start. I mean, I guess he did play in their last game, so he probably starts. Sure, maybe you'll get him and Dean Wade in there. But again, I think you're going to see one of those guys on Wiggins, and I think that's a mismatch. Max Strus on Wiggins, I'd take that any day of the week. He's got several inches on him. Pause. And I really think this is a good spot for Wiggins. And as I've said, the minutes were there, 39 minutes in that last game. You look at his splits when he gets back, even just 25 minutes. Look at his splits. Over in 15 of 19 games. So he's been really good. There's upside for 30 minutes here over nearly every single game. I think the field goal attempts are there when you're getting him at 10 plus field goal attempts, over in 76%. I just think his role on this team is very undervalued given these two just bad games. Sure, call them what it is. 2 for 11, 3 for 12. When you're shooting below 25% in the games, you're going under. That's not rocket scientist for you. So again, I really think this is a good spot to back Andrew Wiggins. So those are my three picks. I'm not going to get overcomplicated, talk about other games. I don't really want to get involved with the Knicks and the Wizards game again. All those lines are way inflated based on what happened last game. That could be a Knicks blowout win. I'd rather just stick to these three picks. You see them scrolling at the bottom of the screen. I'll recap them right here. Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz over 21.5 points plus rebounds. I've had an individual line. Probably go points. PJ Washington over 12.5 points. And Andrew Wiggins, final play of the day, over 14.5 points, which is about minus 115 right on DraftKings. So three picks. Let's try to have another good winning day. Go for an eighth straight. Again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Two final reminders. Number one, if you want to join the DubClub, I'll put a link at the top of the description. 14-day free trial. That is all I request for some sympathy for my sickness and the winning picks. Get all the picks early. You can join the Discord as well with that link. Number two, when the Lions and 49ers video is live, I'll link it somewhere here. I'm about to go get in the lab for that game right now. Again, appreciate you guys for tuning in. See if I feel better tomorrow. But either way, thanks again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.